This week with Dr. Onya, we've been looking at harmonizing melodies using triads. And you can do this in combination with thicker, warmer chords in the left hand, and it creates a very interesting sound. For instance, if this, a shell voicing for A minor, is combined with G and A, you get some really exotic kind of quality to it, or at least very lush quality. I'm going to look at the song Autumn Leaves and give it this treatment. We'll break it down phrase by phrase and then show how to do the chord couples and the various chord harmonization techniques that he showed us this week. The reason I'm doing this is because MacArthur, shout out to MacArthur, one of the students in the intermediate class, mentioned Autumn Leaves as a song that he thought would make a good one to study using this approach. So here we go. Autumn Leaves. There's the first phrase. The nice thing about this song is it's sequential. At least the first 8 measures. You're dealing with the A melodic minor scale and the A natural minor scale. Obviously, both those things are possible since you're in the key of A minor. So the first phrase is aiming towards a D minor. It lands on the 3rd of D minor. The nice thing is your next bass note is G, and the next sequence starts on G. The next bass note is F, and your sequence starts on F. And now E, and your sequence starts on E. So that makes it pretty easy to learn the very first part of this song. If we're going to use a chord melody approach, then we've got, and if this, an A minor chord is our beginning chord, right, because we're going to D minor. By the way, 2, 5, 1, 4, 7, 3, 6. This is another thing that's beautiful about this song is how cyclic the progression is. All right. So starting here, A minor and G. This is one possibility. This is one I like. Now go to an F triad over D. And of course this is giving us a D minor 7. Now here, you could use this. That's a possibility. Or you can use this. Whichever one you prefer. Now here I'm using G and I'm adding the melody note of E above here. Now in this case, because this is a 4 chord, I'm going to treat it as Lydian. Because to me that sounds more like the song than, for instance, I Don't Care for That. Now you have a D triad here, D minor triad over B for a B half diminished chord. And now the next sequence starts on E, but now there's the melody, which gives us, essentially, we're dealing with the melodic minor scale, A melodic minor scale, or if you want, the Mixolydian flat 6, which Dr. Onye has also talked about this week. If we do this in triads, we get this. Now you can fatten that up if you want. Fully diminished. And you can make this a minor with a major, with a minor, an A minor 6 chord. Or you can keep it simple. Just A minor triad, right? That does the job, right? So there's the first phrase. The next phrase is just like it. The biggest difference is so that means everything's going to be the same till we get to that very last part. Accommodating that F if I want to. I don't have to. Now here, there's the simplest approach. You could do this, I guess. That's interesting. What does that sound like? Kind of like it. Right? Or you could say, right? Any number of possibilities exist there. But let's just stay with triads. Going on, the melody says, okay, so what are we going to do there? Because the chords change, right? So it's like, see, where was I? Just finish the last phrase. What to do here? Well, we're playing a B half diminished, so why not work off this and a diminished? I don't care for that as much. I think just working off the B diminished triad and the B, yeah. Right? Now the next phrase is, so then we've got, so starting from the beginning of that second part, that's what we've got. So we were on. So, just to put it in context, Yes. In this case, because it's pick up into that B half diminished, or that's a possibility. So we've got the next part goes. So we're on an F when we start da da dee. There's one of the next measure. So then I would say, how about, I like that. Now then I need a D minor. Now then, or we could say this. And we would have say on C7. See if I can play the whole thing. number of variations of there are possible. Find your own. Have fun with it. It's a gorgeous song. It teaches a lot. So if you have any questions about this, hit me on WhatsApp or whatever. Happy practicing.